How is it going, agency owners out there? My name is Ryan. Today, we're going to talk about how you build a consistent data driven Upwork funnel for your agency. So, I run the Upwork funnels for 15 agencies earning between 10K and 90K per month from Upwork. They have other lead gen sources, of course, but these are their ranges on Upwork purely. And we're going to talk today about how they do that and the most important things they do. These guys are across all different industries. So some of them are doing SEO, some of them are doing WordPress, fractional CMOs, CRO stuff, SEO, Webflow, copywriting, etc., etc. So, what is the agency? What is the agenda for today? What are the three pillars that we will cover? Pillar number one is accuracy. There's a lot of crap on Upwork, and you need to be you need to have a system that can accurately show you higher ticket leads, people that are actually able to pay you, that are not that are not false positives. So there's lots of stuff that's low ticket crap, and there's lots of stuff on Upwork that even if they would be a great lead for another agency, they're not a great lead for you. And this is especially true with marketing stuff. And we will get through the process for how you design accurate Upwork searches and getting around some of the bugs in Upwork so that you can delegate this profitably. So if you have a VA that you've trained your VA to go and find Upwork stuff, if you have your VA go through and find this stuff manually, your accuracy will go down and your profitability will go down because you'd spend a lot of time training a VA. You have to have a more expensive VA. You're wasting money on connects. You're missing out on opportunities. Accuracy enables pillar number two, which is speed. So you cannot have speed without accuracy. If you have some cool Chrome plugin or some RSS feed pumping leads into your Slack channel that is not as accurate, your speed is irrelevant at that point because you're spending time still siphoning through all these leads on your Slack channel or whatever it is. And that's a problem. Slower means less chance of winning. So if you have an accurate search or an accurate lead flow, you all of a sudden can unlock speed, which increases your chances of winning. And then both of those things really they're feeding into and enabling campaign data. So this is kind of like Facebook ads where, you wouldn't run Facebook ads without knowing whether this creative or that creative or this ad set or that ad set is the most profitable and having, the highest ROAS and the highest conversion percentage and things like that. And the same thing is true with Upwork, right? And that's one of the reasons why data is so important and why this enables you to scale. It's because even if you hire the perfect VA, even if you have what you think is an accurate search and you're applying quickly, if you knew that your job percentage, application percentage on one campaign or one country or one skill set or one type of job was much higher than the other, all of a sudden that becomes much more sustainable. So accuracy, speed, and data. Right. When are jobs posted? How are the jobs posted when your VA is working, or are these things out of sync? So these three things work together very, very well, and we'll talk about how to do all that. So in terms of the overall system, so so you can do this manually, you can do this. I have a service that does this for you. This is the kind of overall flow. We've got the different feedback loops and stuff, right? So we're going that way. Agenda for today: is Upwork worth it for you? Is it a good lead channel? I have an ROI calculator I'll show you in a second. Second piece that we will talk about is basically search design. And so there's some bugs we'll talk about. We'll talk about considerations for how you design Upwork searches, depending on if you're a design agency, you're a marketing agency, you're doing IT, mobile design, web design, that kind of stuff. Whether you're a large agency versus a small agency, the techniques that you apply for search design do vary, and we will talk about that. We'll talk about how you scale Upwork as a lead gen source. So what do you need to do to be able to have a VA apply for you instead of yourself? We'll talk about tracking and refining. And one thing we will not cover is I'm not a copywriter. I don't know your sales process. We're not going to cover what's the perfect proposal template that you send, or how do you use ChatGPT to send the perfect thing? Why? Because without the data of tracking that thing, of maybe it's a split test between two different types of copy, without data there, it doesn't matter, right? You could have, like, imagine the perfect Facebook copywriter. They're like, "Well, yeah, we run your Facebook ads. We're amazing copywriters. We make amazing creatives, but we don't track any of the stats about whether campaign A or B is working better." Like, that would be a worthless company to hire. In the same way, I think it's not really worthwhile doing Upwork if you're not tracking this kind of stuff. And once you are tracking this kind of stuff, all of a sudden playing with copy makes a lot more sense. So that's where we're going. So, first question, is Upwork worth it for you? Well, there's about 3 million jobs posted per day on Upwork. And I did a sample check for one particular IT company. I did this check during the 4th of July period over a 24-hour period. And I found, with only looking for 5K plus jobs, I found $1.4 million worth of jobs. Okay. All right. 1.357. A lot. Almost $1.4 million. So, question is Upwork worth it for you? Well, I have this Upwork search calculator. What you could do, so let's assume there's 3 million jobs per day. What we have to do next is, and this is 16 connects per job. You have to pay to apply for jobs on Upwork. So it is actually, an ROI type thing. Let's assume that you apply for 10 jobs per day. So you do it, your VA does it, whatever. So let's say in your niche, right, it's 10. Everything in white here, you can fill in, right? That's for you. Okay. So let's assume that there's 16 connects per job. That means every job costs you $2.52 to apply. Okay. So here's what you can fill in. You're not going to get a call booked or a conversation started for every single job that you apply to. Not going to happen. So let's assume that when you're starting out, it's 5%. For sure, I wouldn't put this anywhere higher than, no higher than 15%. So 5%. So that means to get a conversation started, maybe it's a call, maybe it's you close over chat, but let's say it's a Zoom call, costs you $50. You can do that through the Upwork chat thing, or you can take them off to your landing page and take the lead off Upwork. But either way, it's going to cost you about $50 to get that conversation started. Now, of the conversations that you have, not everyone's going to be qualified. Obviously. This part depends on your sales process. This part depends on your sales process as well. So let's say you make an offer to, and you will know your own numbers, put in some decent numbers that you think are reasonable for you here. A certain percentage will be qualified to get an offer from you. And of those people that are qualified, a certain percentage will close. Your close rate is not 100%. It's not 80%. It's not 70%. It's probably at the most 60% actually. But let's just say it's 30% for the sake of argument here. That means your cost to acquire a customer is $280. Now, is that worthwhile? I have no idea. What you do next is you punch in these values for your client. So, do you charge a setup fee? Do you charge money per month? Maybe you charge nothing per month. It's $5K fixed and that's it. Right? Maybe it's $2,000 to start and then $2,500 additionally per month. And they stay on for, maybe the first month is $3,500 and every month after that is $2,500. So it's $1,000 extra setup fee, $2,500 per month. Let's say they stay on for 8 months. You're going to put in your own numbers here for your offer and what you actually do. So That means your Upwork cost for Connects is $756 per month if you do 10 per day with these numbers. And so that's that. So that means you're going to sign 2.7 clients per month. You're kind of like ongoing monthly increase in revenue, even after month one, is pretty significant because one customer is worth $21,000. So that means your Upwork revenue every single month is about $56,700, right? This is the monthly revenue, and this is like the kind of net present value, assuming they don't, completely churn after month one. Okay, pretty good. So you're going to punch your own numbers here. If you charge $100 per month or $200, even $200 service, this is not worthwhile, right? Like, just don't do it. But if you're charging high ticket, this is all of a sudden tempting. I will leave the link for this video or this spreadsheet below the video. All right, so we got that part. Now the challenge of getting there, right? How do you actually accomplish this 10? The challenge, you have to eliminate the low ticket junk, find the jobs that really nobody else can. Zoom out here. Overcome some bugs in Upwork search, right? And so we're going to talk about how you get faster. That also increases this 5% here is speed, and how you get better over time. So how you see what proposal variant is working best, how you see what type of jobs you should apply to on Upwork, etc. So 3 pillars. The first pillar is accuracy. So let's talk first about what prevents agencies from finding the highest volume of high ticket jobs. These are lessons that I got from my clients who earned somewhere between $200K and $15 million on them. So problem 1 is only being able to find the obvious jobs. Number 2 is there's just lots of junk volume. And number 3 is lack of feedback loop. So let's get into each of these in detail. So just a couple of things. Upwork search is broken. So hourly filtering, you shouldn't use it. We'll go into more detail there. There's a lot of like agencies posting jobs, looking for basically an employee to join their team. There's varying awareness levels of clients. So some people will say something like, we have a skincare brand. We're looking to grow our store with email marketing. And some people will say, I need a Klaviyo expert. So 2 people looking for the exact same thing, but they use drastically different language to describe it. There's synonyms and misspellings all over the place. Klaviyo's example, I saw one that was DMARC with a C versus DMARC with a K for email deliverability. People miscategorize all the time. And this is especially true with marketing, sales, and lead gen stuff. And we also have a bunch of basically like keyword stuffing here. So build me a MailChimp clone in PHP is not actually the same as MailChimp email copywriting, even though both of them use the keyword MailChimp. And so there's some ways to get around all this that we'll go into. And there's lots of time further to this. There's lots of time that a lot of people spend and they waste because of this junk volume. So we have lots of duplicate skills. We have people listing incorrect skills by clients. And there's, people put in the wrong skills. Sometimes the keyword search finds the false positives. And we have a problem where Upwork cannot detect at all any nuance. So we are an email agency. We are looking for an email agency, and we don't want an agency. We only want to hire a freelancer to run our emails are 3 different things, all of which include the term agency. So this nuance, Upwork cannot detect it. And we'll talk about once you solve that, how do you track this kind of stuff? So the lack of feedback loop as well. So one option that a lot of people try is what they try to do is just in an hourly budget, right? The hourly rate, assume that if I just hire, I'll get even better quality jobs. They look for skills or categories. They'll assume that the US, the UK, Canada, Australia are the people that have the highest paying jobs that are easiest to get. It's not true. And they will do only keyword searches. They'll just scan through categories, right? Or they'll train their VA to do all this kind of stuff. And ultimately, what this is going to lead to is just a very difficult search for jobs. It's going to make Upwork really frustrating for you. It's going to feel like it's not working very well, and it's not. I'm going to show you how to get around it though. So let's get into some technical specifics. So problem number one is hourly search filtering actually eliminates the highest paying jobs. So the way that hourly search filtering works on Upwork is if you put anything here, it will eliminate jobs that do not specify an hourly rate here. So this this filtering is correct to find this job. If I say only above $10 an hour or more, I don't see anything. That this job is filtered out using the same search, for example. Now, if you're smart at marketing, you know that when someone doesn't maybe exactly know the price, they're like, I don't know if it's per hour. They have way more price flexibility. So you don't want to do this. Don't do it. I will show you later how I get around this. The short answer is you have to do it with code after Upwork, and I'm going to show you how that works. Problem two is there's duplicate skills. So there are, I did a scrape for this. And for example, PHP, custom PHP, and PHP scripts. If you know anything about programming, these are the same thing. I have no idea what Upwork was thinking. But the problem is when you, oh geez, what did I do here? The problem is if you use skill searches, let's say you use all three because you want to try to get as specific as possible, you're going to find only the jobs where all three of them are listed at the same time. So I did this. There were 61 jobs that I found. But if you go further and you only select one of them, just PHP, all of a sudden you get almost 7,000 jobs. So 100 times as many. But somebody could put PHP in the title. They could say, I'm looking for a PHP expert. And maybe they use PHP scripts or use custom PHP. They don't use exactly this skill. So if you really want to do this well, you just look for PHP in the search bar, and now you get 9,000 instead of 6,000. So we have more than 150 times as many jobs just from just the right syntax. Okay. Now, here's the other consideration. Jobs that post more skills are more competitive. So it's a slight relationship, but it's still there. Here's your competitiveness going up over time with the number of skills as that increases, right? So the most competitive jobs have like 7 skills listed on average, and the least competitive jobs have on average 4.5. So I'm considering adding this as a feature for my clients as well. We haven't seen like a huge, we don't have any data yet, but I think this is very interesting. So skills, don't use skill search. The third problem is that Upwork encourages clients to skill stuff or keyword stuff the descriptions. So for example, here is a job about Klaviyo that lists MailChimp as an example. Incorrect. So sometimes people they don't do skill stuffing, they do keyword stuffing. So we are a Google Ads agency seeking an experienced video editor to create TikTok videos. If you're looking for someone looking for Google Ads, you're going to see this thing and go, well, this is not relevant to me. They're looking for they're looking for video stuff. Okay. And the other thing that is a consideration is that Upwork searches for title or description or skills. Sometimes that match algorithm is not what you want though. So that's something to consider in your search design. For example, right? Ads, Facebook advertising, Instagram, social media management, social ads, whatever. And you have to be very, very careful about how you do these searches. So for example, Klaviyo and MailChimp, there's this many. So there's actually 4 jobs that list both Klaviyo and MailChimp together. which is kind of weird, right? All right, next problem. A lot of people think, oh, I got to go to the USA because Americans have more money and yada, yada, yada. And that's actually true, kind of. So if we look at every country, so United States has the most out of every country, right? India is second, UK is third, Canada, then Australia. These are for high ticket jobs, so every job above $5,000. But this long tail here amasses to more than the United States. So if you ignore the long tail, you got Japan and South Africa and Germany and whatever, you eliminate most of the jobs. Now, I'm not saying you have to go for some random country. Like, I'm not saying like, whatever, no offense if you're in Kuwait, but I'm not saying you have to target Kuwait. But there's lots of really wealthy expats in Thailand. Lots of people have money in Dubai. Lots of people have money in France. Singapore is rich. Hong Kong's rich. Germany's rich. All this kind of stuff. So the other interesting thing is that some of these non-US countries that have some money are not very competitive. So Hong Kong, there's lots of money in Hong Kong. Lots of money in France. And I looked at the average competitiveness. New Zealand is actually Luxembourg, Czech Republic for some reason, Cyprus, pretty competitive. But it may be advantageous to you to explore beyond the United States. Problem 5 is that people spell incorrectly. So Clavio without an I, Clavio without a Y. And you will miss jobs because of this. And the other bigger concern is things like Google Ads. Well, there's lots of synonyms for Google Ads. We have pay-per-click advertising, paid search, Google Ads, Google advertising. There's two different Google Ads and Google advertising, two different terms. Performance Max, Google Media Buyer, Google Media Buying, SEM, etc. So if you only look at one of these variants, you will miss out on volume for sure. And problem 6 is that Upwork just makes some stuff up. So what I do with search design is you go keyword by keyword, test every single one, and verify that you're not adding a bunch of junk and verify that you're not adding in unpredictable results. Right? Because this is weird. And then another one I looked at was PPC. So PPC has 3,500 results. PPC and not advertising has 6,000, which makes no sense because if we eliminate advertising, we should see less jobs. And furthermore, when we do this PPC and not advertising, we get landing page somehow. So Upwork seems to think it's being helpful and it's not. Okay. Problem 7. Upwork's search or website just shows old results. So if you type some stuff in, it takes a second for the URL bar to update, and that is a problem. Good luck finding a VA who will notice that nuance. So, and probably the biggest problem or the most obvious problem is a lack of nuance with Upwork. So we are an agency versus looking for an agency. They have, some job descriptions that are one sentence long or one word long. You probably want to eliminate those. They're probably irrelevant for you, but Upwork doesn't allow you to do that. Upwork doesn't flag if there's jobs requiring some kind of weekly call. And sometimes you have companies looking for affiliates, or you have people looking for commission only, rev share only, and you probably want to eliminate those, but Upwork does not allow you to do so. So really all that means is if there's a lot of crap with Upwork, you have to be very careful. And this is probably why, honestly, one of these problems is probably why it can feel like two agencies that Upwork is not profitable. It's not that Upwork is not profitable. There's 3 million jobs on there every day, apparently. And there's lots and lots and lots of very bottom of funnel people looking to buy exactly what you offer. But those jobs are often hidden because of all this crap on Upwork, frankly. So how do you actually do this? How do you do this? Again, let's remind ourselves of the goal. The goal is to build a funnel, a tool, something that's better than the best BAs, cheaper than the cheapest, and faster. And because what we want to do ultimately is be able to outsource this. We want this to be a profitable lead channel, just like Google Ads, just like Facebook ads, just like organic, just like all these other things. So talk about that. Okay, so before you start, these are some strategic questions. So, what does the business do? So you need to know whether it's like, okay, is it copywriting? Is it Google Ads? Is it any kind of ad? Who do you do it for? Is it only for ecom? Only for info products? Is it, you know, who do you do it? Who do you not do it for? That's very closely related. So if you do like design, is it 2D or 3D? Is it for videos and games and things like that? Is it only product design? Is it for physical goods? Is it UI, UX design? What does it actually mean? If you're doing ecom, is it only Shopify? You're probably going to eliminate WooCommerce, etc. Okay. In terms of going in, when I work with a new client, when a new client says, hey, like I want you to build this up for me, the questions that are going through my head that I train my team on, number one, how much volume on Upwork is there actually for this? So if there's very, very, very small volume, so fractional CMO stuff, for example, you probably need to allow for some potential false positives simply because you need to capture all the volume that's there. And so it's okay, it's permissible to allow one or two things that sneak by. Okay. If, however, there's huge volume, you may want to allow for maybe it's permissible to eliminate one or two jobs per day, simply because if you don't do that, you're going to have just so much crap that comes in. It's not going to be worthwhile. Okay? Consideration two is how big is the business? So if you have a one person agency, they don't need to see 100 or 100 job per day coming through. They just don't have that capacity, right? You won't be able to fulfill on that if you have a single person business. However, if you have a 50-person agency, which I have some of both on this system, you need more volume. So that's that. Third thing is how common is it for consumers or entrepreneurial people with no money to post a job for this? So almost all marketing, you have lots of people that are hobbyists that are just starting out to have $0 that are looking for like beginner marketing help. They need a website built, they need a WordPress website built, things like that. But almost all IT is a bit more sophisticated buyers. There's not a lot of people looking for a fractional CMO that are not serious about business. There's fewer of them. Same with like Amazon Web Services. Like no charity wants Amazon Web Services. No consumer B2C customer wants AWS. Right? There's the other one that's closely related to this one is, are there segments of the market that are poorer than others? So for ecom, it's probably WooCommerce. If you're doing like ads for ecom businesses, you probably want to eliminate Amazon or drop shipping because they have no money. Or, and again, closely related to the above, are there some skills that have more competition? So if you're programming, there's lots more people that can do PHP or Python who are like actively learning it as hobbyists who want to make a quick buck doing that. And so there's way more applications for those jobs. AWS or cloud services, not as many. And do the job posters think they could do it themselves if they only had time? So for something like 2D animation, probably they don't think they could do it themselves. They're probably know they need some expertise there. Same with 3D animation, same with building a mobile app. But installing WordPress, they probably think they could do it on their own if they just found the right YouTube video. So this is a consideration when it comes to basically one axis, volume versus quality. So if you want to be way more specific, what you use are things like title search. So title : brackets Webflow, because then you'll find people that are saying, hey, I need Webflow. There's all this other stuff, but Webflow is the focus of the job. You can use what I call expert qualifiers. So something like Google Ads Expert instead of just Google Ads Rockstar, Google Ads Specialist, Google Advertising Specialist, Google Ads, whatever. I'll teach you how to do that quickly. Or You could eliminate by category or even further by what are called occupations, which is an undocumented feature. I will show you both of those things. All right. Or if you want more broad, maybe you just do a straight up keyword search for something like AWS, because you don't need to do AWS expert because there's no consumers looking for it. No one thinks they can do it. So they're not gonna, there's not like a high ticket version of AWS and a cheap version of AWS. It's all high ticket. Right. And the volume is much lower. So you need to capture as much as you possibly can. So that is how you do that. Now, some best practices for regardless of which path you choose. If you have a 2-word phrase like Facebook ads, this is wrong. This is right. Put it in quotes. If you have a search operator like or, and, or not, put the or, and, or not in capitals. Okay. If you have text like this, where you're looking for Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, whatever, you do Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Google or whatever and ads. You have to put this in brackets. For title search does not support operators, Boolean operators inside the title search. You have to do title Instagram or title Facebook. All right. Title search cannot have a dot in it. And you have to do, you do have to test every single keyword, even if it's correct, because sometimes Upwork just makes stuff up and I don't know why. Okay. So you see this search here, PPC and on advertising returns landing page. I have no idea. It just does. So again, and as you're doing this, you do this, another couple of things. Right? What you want to do is, instead of doing like, let's say Facebook or Google and ads, like, no. What you need to do is Facebook ads or Google. This is much better syntax, because what this does here is if there's ads somewhere in the thing, like, hey, we're not looking for Facebook ads or we're not looking for Facebook or Google, we're actually looking for TikTok ads. This will capture this as a search result. So, no, and you have to go yes. The other one is you can't do multiple groups, so you can't do like that kind of thing. This is a no. All right, so let's talk about categories, right? So let's say you have your search, you have your like keywords. You're like, hey, Ryan, I tested them all with Upwork. Now what do I do? Well, you fill it in this spreadsheet. I will give you the spreadsheet. Don't worry about it. So you've done like some maybe title stuff. Maybe you've done a keyword matrix. So in this case, I was doing a search for ads or Facebook. So what are all the synonyms for Facebook? Well, advertising, ads, media buyer, PPC, pay-per-click, whatever. Facebook specialist, consultant strategy, and you copy and paste all this into categories. So that's that. And the way you get even more specific is after you paste this in here, you copy this list, then you open a new window in Chrome. You use this Chrome extension called Open Multiple URLs. You paste in your URLs and click Open. Now, what you're going to notice is that there's some categories where the entire category is just completely junk. Okay. So writing looks kind of okay, but the most recent job was posted 9 days ago. And it's less about strategy and more about just like somebody doing copywriting for probably existing agencies. So I would generally eliminate the writing category in this case. Web, mobile, and software dev, we're going to get some stuff, maybe that's Google ads or ads related. But for the most part, we're going to get like, hey, can you install my Pixel? Can you make a website, and run ads to it as well? So typically for most clients, I would also, sometimes I would do it. Sometimes I wouldn't, depending on the volume they needed. Translation. Sometimes what I've seen in here is like, hey, we have these ads in English, translate to German. So you probably need to eliminate this category as well For ads, you probably don't want to translate ads because you want to create the original ad and someone else translate for you. So typically I would eliminate that. Sales and marketing, especially for ads, you see there's lots of like really good quality stuff here. But what's really interesting is this other insight. I'm going to show you this. Again, we have some stuff where it's like, yeah, this is maybe somewhat related. Design and creative. Okay, so again, design and creative, mostly what I've seen in relation to ads for design and creative is people looking like agencies that are running ads, looking for people to like make a graphic for them or make a video for them, but not actually run the ads. But I'll show you this. This is mostly like pixel installing stuff, Google Analytics. What is super interesting is that category search allows you to potentially see completely irrelevant categories. So it was here. Yeah. So admin support for ads. What is fascinating about this is you start to see like everything in here is like drop shipping, Amazon, eBay listings optimization, drop shipping, Amazon, etc. So sometimes what I will do is I'll look at the lowest paying jobs for certain keywords and then see if there's trends in those low paying jobs that I can extrapolate to the higher paying jobs to eliminate the worst, or to the broader search to eliminate the most low quality jobs. So for example, in this case, well, the first time I did this for an ads client, I was like, hey, like, do you work with like drop shipping stores? Because it seems to me like drop shipping and Amazon people would have no money. And so the category search, what this allows you to do is discover keywords that apply even with other categories and refine this list. So you say, well, like this, right? You go, well, I'm going to go this. You would go and not or drop shipping or drop, maybe drop ship. Okay, so I'm a little bit long here. What I do in these cases is put things into 500 character groups. So in this case, what I would do is, well, my negative search terms are Amazon or drop shipping or drop shipping, for example, right? So what you have to do is do this character count and then bucket things up. Like I got to bucket it like that. Right? Then do that. So you see how Upwork told me it was a 500 character limit. So I gotta do it like this. And then you go back into Upwork and now you have something that's less than 500 characters. So now I've eliminated all of dropshipping, all of Amazon from that list. And so my list is higher quality. Now, let's get back to our guide. We talked about junk categories. What is this occupation thing? Well, if you want to get really, really precise, what you can do is observe. Okay, this is like observe something here. So let's look at sales and marketing. So there's all sales and marketing, which presumably is like the whole list. And there's 3 like subcategories here: digital marketing, lead gen and telemarketing, and marketing, PR, and brand strategy. Now, these are categories. If I click on this, it says social media marketing. Now, where in here do you see social media marketing? You don't. So an occupation, the reason I call it occupation is because if you see this social media marketing and you click on it, it says occupation ID at the stock here. You can get even more specific than categories by going with the individual occupation. Now, unfortunately, there's only one way to find what occupations are listed, and it's to click on each job and see what's listed here. But there may be social media marketing, right? You make a list of these. Lead generation. So let's say you wanted social media marketing and lead generation. You would just copy this number here. And so see, it says social media marketing. You put a comma and you copy in the ID. And now you have social media marketing and lead generation. These are occupations. They're even more specific, but it's a bit manual to go and find these. And yeah, so that is that. Again, you get the idea. So eliminate junk categories and occupations. Now that is getting even more specific. By the way, here's the Chrome link for that plugin, right? Just open multiple URLs. Very, very simple. So now, last piece before accuracy. Let's talk about extreme accuracy, enhancing accuracy even more than what we've done already. So Upwork has limitations. We talked about the budget thing. We talked about the word count thing. We talked about some of the nuance around like we are an agency, whatever. The only way to do this is after Upwork filtering. So I use what's called a regular expression for this. You can train a VA to do this, but I think code, like the beauty of code implemented once is it's going to be consistent every single time. And so your cost for a VA goes down because they don't have to do as much. So you don't have to train, you don't have to pay as much per hour, and it's like fewer hours. So plus they're faster because you're eliminating the stuff that you don't want them to see in the first place. So there's a few things I do in code. So number one is I count the number of words in the description. Some clients want anything below X characters or X words, like below 10 words or 20 words, just eliminated entirely because they're like, this person isn't serious, let's eliminate it. Or some people want anything above a certain threshold eliminated as well, because again, maybe they think, they're too corporate and too demanding. I don't want to work with them. We're doing budget filters. The way that my code works for that, and you can implement the same code, is anything that doesn't have a cost per hour specified, I allow through. I assume that's a high ticket role. And anything that still does specify a low hourly budget, I block that. And then I'm using a technology called a regular expression to tell the difference between like we are an agency and we're looking for an agency, for example. And I'm also using that for finding and eliminating last minute jobs. So I need this website done in 24 hours, for example, or eliminating non-English job postings, or eliminating your competition. So what I do is I want to test this out. I test it out on regex101.com. You can write Regex is supported by Zapier, Make, Python, Perl, PHP, like literally any programming, C++, whatever. Okay. So let's talk about the next thing, speed. Accuracy enables speed. If you do not have accuracy and you set up like RSS to your Slack thing for alerts, you're just moving the work from one place to the other. You're not really helping you because it still takes you forever to siphon through the crappy alerts that you're getting. So again, accuracy works together with speed. There's two options for speed. One is a very, very dedicated VA. So you still have to design a search for accuracy, pillar one. And, you want that because your VA can be faster, right? But you really want them like staring at their computer screen for the entire 8-hour shift or 12-hour shift that you have them on. And you want to make sure to the point of like pillar 3 that that their data is tracked. So the other option is this is what I happen to do is I have code that does this. You can write your own code. You can sign up for mine. It's up to you really. But the way that this works is it uses publicly available data from Upwork, searches every 5 minutes, 24/7. It runs it through a Python script and that does the regular expression checks and the filtering and all that kind of stuff. And I'm using some proxies as well to make sure that Upwork doesn't block this tech. But I don't need, the beauty of this is like, it doesn't break Upwork's terms of service. I don't need your login. There, no, it's publicly available job data. I'm just finding it faster and filtering out more of the crap with this. That's or with this part. Okay. So it's getting this data. I'm going to show you this data. So if you, regardless of which of these solutions you choose, this will work for you. So I'm going to link this Airtable base below with like a sign up link that you can get it and stuff like that. But the way that you do this is you can, if you have the automated solution that you want to sign up for that, that's cool. I'll give you a 7-day trial. If you mention this video, there's a link below this video, or you can have your VA enter in jobs manually. So the way this works is they put in the date found on Upwork. They put in the Upwork URL, the title, the description. They can add some tags if you want to manually have them categorize things for you. The country, the lead score, the skills, the category, the pricing type, the number of words in the description, budget, and the hourly rates. And then that way, every single job, hey, like I found this job and disqualified it. I found this one, it was a good fit. I found this one, there's actually tracking happening for your system. So I will leave a link for this Airtable base below so you can sign up for it. Okay. Or you can have the automated thing, in which case all this data is going to be automatically found for you. So let me show you what basically what a completed solution would look like, so you have an idea. So give this a second. Okay. So what we have is like data on when it was posted on Upwork. We calculate the time since it was posted, so we know we can sort by order. And we've got like the title, the description, any tags that apply, the budget, the country. And then what this allows you to do, once you have the data in, whether your VA enters it, you enter it, or it's automatically entered, is you can go through and change the status of these to, proposal sent or meeting booked or closed or whatever it is. Okay. So this is a CRM for Upwork. Right. Then over time, if you have the skill and category data as well, and you can correlate all these data together. So maybe you want to run this in a, Kanban and do this kind of stuff, right? Qualified. You can have your VA send the proposals and you just mark them as qualified, whatever you want to do. And then also see one of the really cool things is over time, as you gather a data set, you can start to see the most popular skills, the most popular categories, the most popular countries, and tags as well. And so what this allows you to do is refine the entire system. You can see, hey, was my VA actually qualifying and disqualifying the right jobs? What times of day are people posting jobs? Is my VA scheduled at those times? And so really this gets into data for your Upwork funnel. This is super, super, super important. I can't imagine running a Facebook ad where you just had no idea what ad set was performing the best or what keywords were performing the best for a Google ad, right? You would waste so much money per month simply because you would just be running like every single campaign and guessing where the wins are coming from. You have no idea. So what you want to be able to do is basically use this Upwork CRM thing to answer questions like, well, how long after posting does your VA actually apply? Right? Is your VA just applying for enough jobs? Like maybe you say, I do 10 per day, and they just stop at 10. Or are they just keeping on hunting until they find 15 or 20? Okay. Are there certain countries or categories or job types where you have a highest close percentage? For example, someone came to me and they're like, hey, we've noticed over time that certain skills, so when they do like a job for PHP, for example, they don't win it as much as other jobs that they can do. So are there certain skills that correlate or job types that correlate to a higher close percentage? making sure your VA is scheduled for the time of the day when the most jobs are scheduled. Are they disqualifying the right jobs? And then, of course, optimizing your profile to match the most common skills, categories, etc. So really, these feedback loops are the only thing I think that allows you to get better. And this means you can split test proposal type or proposal messages. You can test all that because you have data to see if your test is actually valid, how well it's actually working, rather than guessing. So all this helps you do that. Grow an Upwork. Pillar 1, accuracy. Pillar 2, speed. Pillar 3, the data that helps you make everything better, both your team and the lead flow. So hopefully you enjoyed this. There's a couple of resources linked below. One resource is the Upwork ROI Calculator. You can punch in your own numbers and see if Upwork is worthwhile for you. Another one is this Upwork Search Design SOP. Another one is this Upwork CRM that you are welcome to use. And I think that is all. I do run an automated version of this where this CRM automatically populates with jobs, kind of like this. It automatically gets jobs in. This is a copy of an automated solution. So if you are interested in a self-populating Upwork lead gen / CRM thing, you can get that here. And if you mention this video, I'll give you a free 7-day trial. So hope you enjoyed all of that. Have a great rest of your day. And yeah, thank you for your extreme patience in watching this absurdly long video. Peace.